Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Web Platform for Dialogue. It's a wonderful international forum where we will going to share a wonderful series of lecture in 2020. Already we delivered. And if you really want to know about Web Platform for Dialogue, I really wish you all that please visit our website that is www.webplatformfordialogue.net. 2020 have taught us so many things in COVID-19 pandemic. But this is a time when we have to take it very positively. And we have taken it the positivity of COVID-19 and we shared so many things together with this platform. Web Platform for Dialogue is a forum for so many experts from different perspectives who will present their ideas, their views, their research work, their publication without any kind of biasness, without any kind of prejudice. That is what we can able to see in this particular scenario in society. We have different opinion. Different opinion is good. But the problem with the different opinion is we have lots of conflicts and hate speech, one of the biggest issue nowadays. How to deal with the hate speech? How to deal, particularly the youth, who are the upcoming citizen of a country, not only in our country, but in the international scenario also. How about their contribution to address the hate speech? How to deal with different types of hate speech, incitation during the election, before election, after election, different platform, media, social media. So today, particularly with Web Platform for Dialogue, we will going to learn about a very broad theme that is IRD and ICD. What is IRD? IRD is interreligious dialogue and ICD is intercultural dialogue for prevention of hate speech and protection of sacred sites and cultural heritage. Role of youth in India and Nigeria. Why Nigeria? Nigeria is also having similar type of scenarios what India is having. Nigeria will going to have very soon the general elections. So what we faced in our elections, we may have precautions, preconceptions to protect the Nigerian youth from this kind of hate speech and incitations. We have our keynote speaker, but unfortunately, she is not going to join some other reasons. Maybe she will join some after some time. So she is Stella Francis, and I will introduce her later on. Let's start with our very own Srija Chakraborty, a very wonderful person I have ever known. Srija is a wonderful person and she had a wonderful YouTube channel also. If you would like to visit her YouTube channel, it's wonderful. And especially, she's specialized in the world of sociology and feminism because most of her work is basically deal with the idea of protection of women's rights, protection of human rights, prevention from any sort of biasness that is availing, particularly the youth. So I really, really welcome Srija for this particular session detailing on the hate speech and how to deal with the hate speech particularly. Srija have a wonderful career in terms of the sociology and in the honors in the subject from Presidency College under Calcutta University, a very prestigious college in India also. She did her master's from Presidency College and it got autonomous. So with her upcoming publication, upcoming research work detailing on the women's rights. Also, she had a diploma in human rights from Jadavpur University, Kolkata. She is associated with so many other fields of human rights and women's studies. She already completed MPhil degree. She is willing to pursue PhD also. So I welcome Srija for this wonderful sessions. And particularly today's topic is very close to me, gendered abominations of the global spheres countering hate speech. I welcome you all on this particular very day, and I hope that you will definitely going to learn something, going to know something about how we are perceiving gender issues. I welcome you, Srija, for this particular sessions. And if you have some questions, definitely raise some questions because that's very important. You have the chat support, so write down your questions in the chat and Srija will definitely answer them. Now, I'm not going to take much more time because it's Srija's time. So I open the forum for Srija only particularly. Srija, welcome and
Hi.
start your sessions.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, and I have been working for women empowerment, women development, and all this kind of, the empowering nature of the words that we have for women. And, I have a very antagonistic perspective on the fact that we call it women empowerment, we call it women studies, we call it women liberation. I have particularly have been very negative towards this word because it should not be women empowerment, it should not be women's studies, because why are we marginalizing or countering a particular gender, or that matter sex? And I'll come to the fact that what is the difference between sex and gender. So why are we minorizing this particular gender, as well as marginalizing them and saying that you need upliftment? We first corner them, and then we say you need empowerment, and then we say that you need upliftment. I'll come to those words. So the topic that I thought that I'll be talking about today is gender abomination at global sphere, countering hate speech. And why I have chosen this word abomination, because of the fact that's very difficult. First of all, we don't choose our birth, we don't choose our parents, we don't choose our name even, unless someone goes for affidavit. So everything that we run after is given to us. We are adaptive. We are, I won't say adopting, but we are adaptive to everything that we get ascriptively. So yes, abomination is also an ascriptive feature to that we are accepting that whether we are a girl or a boy. And later on, with all the development, these kind of things that comes up, like the ecofeminism that we'll talk about, and how LGBTQIA plus communities are coming up, because now we don't feel that sex is imbued in a particular word which is male and female. Of course, so sex, which is a biological difference, that is with whether you're a male or female or transgender, and gender is a construction, that is a social construction of masculinity and femininity. So there comes the gender abomination, marginalization that we talk about. So this concept, I also was associated with Calcutta University regarding urban management and planning, where I did a particular project on women empowerment from downtrodden sector, that is the people from slum or the domestic labor traveling from a rural area to urban area, for that matter. And believe me, education, or a literacy for that matter, literacy for a particular poor person, especially this is for Indian perspective, and especially for West Bengal, which I have found while working with CUES department of Calcutta University when I was doing PG diploma there. So I found that literacy for a woman in a slum area who doesn't know ABCD rather is signing. They're going to the bank and saving their money, and they're signing. What is the signature all about? They're literated. So when they can sign, they're literated. So just imagine a person who doesn't know what are the alphabets, they're signing. So for them, that is like a painting, a huge, hate speech for them, because when they're, seniors at home, like their in-laws, or for that matter, their husband, The people who are at the zenith of power in their house, and still she's working, and still she's earning, and still they're having that paw on her establishment, and she is being called that you can only sign and you're literate. And the word literacy is very much like a hate speech to her. So these kind of what to say negation towards our life is very perilous to view. And I would say that this hate speech, or hatred for that matter, is a construction of promoting insult. It can be anything. That can be a false appreciation as well. It doesn't matter that you need to be called a witch, or for that matter a very slang word of calling someone who is working as a sex labor. All those slang words, I won't utter those words, rather, because I don't believe that those words needs to be glorified, so I won't utter those words. But these kind of even false appreciations are also hatred speeches. So, committee on 13th October 1997 worldwide accepted that these hate speeches are to be countered globally. So, what is gendered abomination in hate speech? Ma'am, if you permit, I would say that meme that I came across on a social media, if you permit, I'll come across the meme if you want, though I don't have the date exactly written to me, but it's a very famous meme, and it's almost can be viewed anytime. I mean, it's very common, and it comes up as a kind of a boost to various morale, that this is happening as unemployment. So if you permit, I'll go through it.
Yes, please do.
Yes. So, during elections, and during various political, sometimes political associations and organization often combat against this violation of words, but sometimes they also, kind of defend them as well. So I came across this meme. Please, you can go and have a clarification on it later on, because this came as a joke and something, because it's not a very established hate speech, but for me, I felt that it is hate speech. So this is a very personal remark. They say that the unemployment situation is such a curse in our country that even the vagina of a particular sex labor is covered with spider web. Can you imagine the word? I mean, unemployment, you could have said anything, but what is this kind of remarks? So this is what the violence of words we are talking about. Yes. So this is another point that I wanted to raise, that hate speech is often a violence of word. Now, I have thought of talking few points regarding this session. Like, what is the difference between sex and gender, which I have already talked about, that it's a biological construct and one is a social construct. And then theories of gender, we have various theories, and ma'am, I would like to request you that after I stop, you can go through the comments, because I'm on the mobile, so I won't be able to see it, all the comments, it's
Don't
coming
worry,
like.
I will do that. Don't worry.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So the theories of gender, and how that those theories which were written quite a long period of time, or the coming up theories, which are the researchers which are consolidating into theories, how are they countering these global abomination, or rather the antagonism against hate speech. So what are the theories basically of gender, of feminism for that matter? They are liberal, radical, socialist, Marxist, postmodernist, and ecofeminism. Now, when we say liberal, the first thing, liberalization, the emancipation of a woman, do you think that empowerment is our compulsion and not our choice? This was one of my paper which got published internationally. But I wanted to see that women needs to be empowered. That means that we are compulsed with the word. We had a compulsion that we need to be empowered. We don't have it as a choice. A boy can choose that whether he will be literated or not. But a woman, if she gets literated, she's of course empowered. So as if literacy is by birth a law to the matter that a men will be literated. It's a kind of a law. But for me, it's an empowerment. For me, it's kind of a compulsion. I have to be literate to know my empowerment, to know my liberation, to know my what to say, my boundaries, that what I can cross and what I should be within. So these things, coming up with gender and development and discriminations and various words, do you think that hate speech only counters women? It doesn't only counters women. It actually talks about caste, it talks about class, it talks about religion, it talks about culture, it talks about nation, it talks about nation state. Why I discriminated these two words? Because nation, when I call my country India, nation state, when India is a state towards the world. Because in a world, it's a particular state. So it's nation as well as nation state. So yes, it is not only India, not only America, not only UK. When you are talking about something which is uh, causing kind of insult to someone, it is not specific to their gender. It is about their culture. It is about their religion. It is about their class. Everything she or he is associated with. So, how to counter this? The attacks, like for example, immigrants or the people who are immigrants, they often face hate speech. How will you gender them? Because you see, we often say in Bengali, Srilata Han. This is a word. The people who is not aware with the Bengali terms, I would say Srilata Hani means someone who is disrespecting woman. When we call this, when someone is getting raped or molested, I mean a woman is getting raped or molested. So why respect is getting harmed when someone is getting raped? So do you think our respect is confined within our private parts? So this educational journey of mine, this employed journey of mine, this earning money of mine, this contribution towards the gross national income of our country doesn't qualify me as my respectful position in our society. It's when I'm raped or molested, that's the time when my respect is going at a toss. So these are the words, which is to be magnified in a discordant way. It is also demographic in nature. Yes, it is demographic in nature because, as you can see in various countries, especially now, when one of the countries got taken over by some goons. I would say a bunch of people who doesn't know what is the meaning of life, because they are also vociferously frightened by their rules as well, because that's what I feel. And they are attacking people because they are out of fear that if the people get adjoined, they will have no specimenship at all. So this is very much demographic. For them, women is losing rights in a vociferous manner, in a magnificent, in a very vivacious manner. So this hate speech or kind of hatred or kind of marginalizing or subordinating someone is hugely demographic, as well as I will say topographic as well. Different from rumors. Yes, hate speech is very much different from rumors, because when we say that that girl was bad, I have heard that girl was bad. That can be a rumor. But when I'm talking to that girl and I'm discovering that yes, she's a very good girl, or she's a very good woman, or an adult for that matter, that rumor is getting obliterated. So hate speech doesn't get obliterated, because once it comes out of your mouth and you're hurting someone, that hurt, that pinch in your heart will remain, no matter how much you try to discard them. Once the glass is broken, that broken pain cannot be filled with anything. So that is how hate speech is. It's different from rumor. Psychological intolerance, we need to know when you are hating someone, it's kind of positive as well. Why positive? Because you will say most of the successful people will say, one day I have got this hurt One day I got this abuse, and that's the reason why I'm successful today. So that negation, that negativity is behind my success story. So, yes, if there is no negativity, we won't accept what is positive. If there is no darkness, we won't accept what is light in ourselves. So that is also a part. It is a psychological intolerance, rather, when we are negative to someone, when we are hating someone, we are kind of getting psychologically impatient towards the fact that we can't be at that position. So, how we can counter them? Of course, intervention of government policies, people who are at the zenith of power, and there are various platforms as well, like securing data. Now various social media became one of the very important link, to nowadays hurt people or to insult people, or some, again to again, kind of acknowledging people. Social media is hugely responsible to uplift the morale of people, and very importantly the propaganda that goes off. You will say, ma'am, then in that case, you came in this forum, you were talking, and we didn't know you before, and now you're also getting propagated. Of course. And from here, I will say one very important point, that is of sociology, that is of social science, and with anything that is related to social phenomenon, that is market economy. Everything happens to propagate, to promote an economy. you know when I propagate this topic, hate speech, countering hate speech, gender abomination, women studies, women empowerment, what I'm doing, I'm creating a market. Listen to me. I want you to say that, listen to me. That is what my target is. You acknowledge my good words, you acknowledge my expertise. So that is also marketing, kind of. So we are creating an economy, we are creating a market for everything. And that is very important to know. Whether it's negative, whether it's positive, it is always yielding some kind of revenue to us. Revenue doesn't always mean that it's a monetary gain, it can also be fame, it can also be something to be noticed. So whether it's a hate speech, whether it's kind of connotations that I'm uplifting you, because you just remember one thing. Our politicians, our everyone who are at the zenith of power, whether it's a corporate head or our administrative head, whoever is there, why we are choosing these representatives? Because we are telling them that, see, we need welfare, and we need to know that all the parties that are coming into the gamut, we are a democratic country, we are a multi-party system. So everyone, whenever coming up with any ideology, they are creating a party. We need to know the goodness of all parties are that they come up with the agenda that I will create welfare for you. But unfortunately, we run after their negations, we run after their brutalities, we run after their, and that happens. That power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So that is what market economy is all about. We need to say that you are marginalized. We need to say that you are minority and you need upliftment, you need empowerment, and that then in that case you will be hearing. Then in that case you will come to these platforms. Then in that case we will have these webinars, and then in that case we will have issues to have a particular platform to discuss about it. So this is how everything operates. So in total, whether it's hate speech, whether hurting someone, whether greeting someone, whether acknowledging someone, is consolidating into revenue generation. And we need to know that someday we will be laughing, or we will be smirking on that fact that that particular comment hurt me someday, but it no more hurt me. So that is all about what I want to discuss. Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead.
I was thinking that you will continue because I'm going to learn so many things from Srija. And it's kind of a eye-opening for me, particularly this lecture. And I really want to know some more in-depth ideas that basically the existing theories, how it has been a real challenge nowadays for the implementer and who are doing the grassroots level activities, particularly. How do you feel that who are doing some sort of researches detailing about the theories. What about the execution of those particular theories in the grassroots reality and ground reality? What are the main challenges and how to execute those theories particularly? I really want to know. And how could you able to connect those existing theories to the ground reality?
Okay, definitely I'll do that, ma'am. I was thinking to it, but I just wanted you to just throw some light on my points, because when I go on with the topic, I feel very, kind of disappointed to see that nowadays people are studying. The examination procedure has become such that it is all about marks. We need to score marks. And it was there. We also studied hard to gain marks, because otherwise we wouldn't have reached any position. That is obviously a market economy again. But nowadays the situation is more like, you know, uh, 90% is nothing. I mean, I think my son will be at a very uh, biased situation where I'll say him that, you have to score above 90, because you will go nowhere otherwise. Because now situation is such. But during our period, when we were in first presidency college under Calcutta University, we used to think, okay, 55% is enough. Honors and 55% is like enough. But then 60% would have been to a dream to us. But nowadays, look at the honors paper, 70, 80, even 99, grade 7.9, 8.9. Even I have been a 7 pointer in masters. I feel that, these theories and research, I'll talk about this a bit. Like, what is the difference between theory and research? Actually, nothing. I mean, it's kind of hen and the egg, because when we are doing research, we are going through review of literatures, and when we are reviewing literature, we are reading through those theories. After we finish our research, that research is again consolidating into a theory. So it's like theory, research, like this. So it's like no one knows which is the one which is pilot. So these theories are very, very much, kind of a ground consolidation of what to say, ground consolidation of presenting a view towards the world. You know, uh, yes.
I think Maria raised her hand, so I really want to know if she would like to add something to your discussion. So, Maria, would you like to say something, or would you like to just comment on Srija? Yes. Just introduce yourself first.
What?
Yes. Introduce yourself first, and then you can raise.
Good
Yes.
afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon to all. I'm Marija Ninitegeka. I'm in Rwanda. But the question I have had is about how, uh, why, why do we accuse our representatives? I have not got it well, and I have come late. I'm sorry. I've got network problems. Thank you.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Maria. Thank you so much for your voice. Thank you. So she's from Uganda, and but I think she will definitely enjoy uh, Srija's discussions because that's
Thank you
very
too.
important. That's very important, Maria. Srija is actually detailing about the scenario not only in India but worldwide. I think this is a worldwide problem, and Uganda, Nigeria, the different parts of the Africa, women voice is very important. And I have met wonderful person from Africa, particularly. She's a lawyer. She is a mother of six daughter. She's raising by herself only. So you can imagine that how much power already she had. But again, we are, detailing about the women empowerment. There is no need to raise the voice for women empowerment. Women are already empowered. Women born with their empowered capability.
Absolutely.
Why, what I feel that let her enjoy the individuality first. No need to be create any sort of gender implementation on her. She is already empowered. But what I felt that it is all about, that Srija also pointed out, it's all about the propaganda. It's all about the market economy, because everything is nowadays is linked with economy.
Yes.
Which particular topic, which particular word is creating the economy, the strategy, the value in the market? That is the selling point. That is the USP, unique selling point. So thank you so much, Srija, for your wonderful talk. And I really want to know much more, because we have some more time also. We have till 8, we have time. So if you really want to discuss, because in
Yes.
this way we can
Uh,
also able to learn so many things. So please go ahead. Yes.
I will talk about three things I have pointed out right now. One which you asked, that is how to relate theories with the current situation. Then I'll talk about this the word women empowerment and why we call it women empowerment, because she's already empowered, just like men. I mean, undoubtedly, because men are considered as empowered. But there are, the one thing that men are also not happy with this word. There are various social researcher I have found who are male, particularly, who are working against this word women empowerment. I mean, working against in the sense, the word, the connotation, that is the the marginalization of the word women empowerment. So they are also very vexed with this word. This is, I won't go against any sex or any gender, because we are all at the equal platform. So it is not men versus women. Of course, please, all my friends will accept this, that this is not about men. We are creating this as that men versus women, but this is not about men versus women. I'll come to that point. And the representation that Maria asked, yes, Maria, I would say that what I said before, representation in the sense that we are choosing a representative, whether it's political, whether it's administrative, whether it's corporate, because we have been told and we have been marketized in such a manner that you need welfare and you need to be uplifted. And the people are coming at front and saying that I will give you welfare, I will uplift you, so you kind of choose me as your representative. So this voicing of our grievances, we are choosing someone. So this is also kind of like we are giving power to someone to uplift us, and we are accepting our marginalization. So that is also kind of, I mean, that is obvious. We have to do it. Otherwise, who will become a prime minister? Who will become a president? This is all about a radical change. And I'll come to those theories, why these radical changes are coming into action. Now, very importantly, when ma'am said women empowerment and women need not to be empowered, we need to know, in our social science, we study that the tribal society, as well as yes, a tribal society, as well as the primitive society, it was very much matriarchal in nature. It was very much matriarchal, because women and men, both of them were in the process of production. They were both in production process. And this production process, they were both yielding revenues. I mean, they were both, at that time it was not monetary, of course, but they were yielding their food, they were yielding their survival and everything. So both of them were productive in their action, economical action or social, political, whatever action they were into. But women, because it was a polyamorous society, women used to bear children, and it was very pertinent that who is my mother. But unfortunately, because it was polyamorous and people didn't have any construction or any contract or any social institution for that matter, so they couldn't diagnose their father. Now came the political intervention. That is, you need to create a contract. If because when women are going for the bearing of children, they are kind of at a particular point moving away from productive process. I mean, productive in the sense economical production process. So that time, the amalgamation or conglomeration of wealth by a man is a question that whom they will give it in their future. I mean, their legal heir, for that matter. Now comes the social institution, the name called marriage. We need a contract where I can propertize someone. That is, I will create a private property of mine. So now we come to the word marriage. So I can say she's my wife, she's bearing my child, and then from that matriarchal, wave, it started reducing or consolidating into a patriarchal wave. So I told it's not about men versus women, but it's about the society we are in. We need some kind of issues to raise to sell a point. So this marriage came. Eventually, you will see in India, in this, especially in the Hindu religion, we wear vermilion, and that is also kind of a social contract. This why this vermilion we wear, because previously they used to with a sharp object.
Shrija,
Yes.
vermilion, you just explain little bit. So our friend from abroad, they will able
Yes.
to understand what is
Okay. I'll
vermilion.
go. Okay. I'll just
You
come
can
to that
say
point.
red tilak or something. They would be
Okay,
very familiar with that.
vermilion in the sense the red powder that we use on our forehead as a Hindu woman that we are married, that is vermilion. And it was like previously during marriage, they with a sharp object they used to be cut on the forehead, and that cut was so deep that it was used to stay for long that you are a married woman. So that was kind of a symbol to you that you are a married now. You are taken away by someone. Like I told you that it is not about men and women combat, rather it is about society, because there are dowry, there are bride price. Various tribes are there who use bride price to bring about their wife, and we there are people who are still fighting against dowry. So all these things, this matriarchal, patriarchal, matrilocal, matrilineal, these are the linkages that we have towards empowerment. How will you come out from the locality of a husband or a wife? You have to be neo-local. How you come out from the descent of a man or a woman and come out to something that you can be adaptive to? You can adopt to, rather, not I will say adaptive, you can adopt yourself. So see, these are the representation we talk about. We always we feel good when someone asks you, how are you? Because we are dependent. We can't say that we like liberation. It is our compulsion. We need to be liberated. Because can you see on your hearts on your hand that if someone doesn't ask me, how are you, I feel good? It's not. When I ask you, how are you, dear, you will feel kind of tinge of warmth in your heart. So we like to be dependent. That's the reason why we come dependent. We need to be raised. But unfortunately, the society, the gamut, the market, the economy, the culture raise us in such a way that we call the term independent, and that is also very subjective. That is also very objectively subjective, because we call this word independent to create kind of satisfaction in our heart. I will come to the theory of Freud, that is psychological surrenderance. I'll come to the word religion again here. There are various religious connotations of, veiling woman, not only veil like burqa, it is veil of darkness. So religion is very significant in this part of psychological surrenderance. Why? Because whoever, whatever religion you preach, whatever religion you believe in, the God you believe in, if you write the name of the God and submit your answer script nationally, or any examination, do you think you will be scoring marks without answering that paper? So do you think that God is helping you without your effort to gain a marks? No, no, it is not. So it is what we are giving all our efforts, and we are psychologically surrendering ourselves that God, you let know that whether I'll be scoring 90 or 70. So it is our psychological satisfaction when we call ourselves independent. We always like that when we are falling down, someone comes and support us. But when you fall alone, you need to raise yourself alone. And that is what is empowerment. So see, empowerment is kind of a compulsion. Empowerment is kind of a pain. It is not liberation. Now I come to the theories. Ma'am, is it okay? These words are okay to understand, or not very
No, it's okay. It's okay.
demographic.
One
Yeah.
one participant couldn't able to join due to some reason, but she raised a question from Uganda or from Africa actually. Her name is Fortune, and she raised the question. I'm going to type it in chat box. I just went off. I don't know why. My question is, if women are born empowered with capabilities, then how do you then support their empowerment and capabilities? So could you able to answer? Yeah.
See, yes, it's a very good question. We often say equality, we often say that we are all equal, we are giving equal status. But again, when we need the word women empowerment, we need to write in those things. And still, the word will be inevitable because but it will be there. We need to
Yeah,
have it.
Srija, Fortune just joined. She raised the question. So that is the right time, Fortune, you joined. Srija is actually addressing your question. So yes, please listen to her carefully.
Yes. So when we say women empowerment and she's empowered by birth, this birth, the term birth itself is empowered. We come up from lot of journeys biologically to take this birth. So we are always fighting. Our survival starts from fighting. If I won't go to the biological parts, but yes, a birth is very much a struggle. And again, why women is empowered, I would say men are as well empowered, because the birth, when we talk about, see, we don't choose our parents, neither we choose our name. Later on, provisions came that we can choose our name, but the things that we run after, the entire survival of our existence, that is the things which are adaptive to us, which is ascripted to us, the kins or the kin relation which is ascriptive to us. I don't want to take birth in a slum area, I don't want to take birth to an abusive family, but that my choice? No. So then again, what we are adapting, that is our empowerment. We are empowered in a sense that we can adapt any situation, and we are that thing. I need to, at last I would have said this, that everything that comes across our way, we are always adapting to it. আমরা বাংলায় যেটাকে বলি মানিয়ে নেওয়া, I'll come to why I say this word মানিয়ে নেওয়া, because it has a huge meaning in Bengali, that we are accepting what we want or what we doesn't want. Because it doesn't mean that you're accepting what you actually wondering for, or that acceptance itself is empowerment, because the word acceptance comes with antagonism and with positivity. Independence come across with negativity as well as positivity. So independence, as we say that independence, we would like to hear that how are you, whether you are okay. These are the words we like to hear from our close ones. So we don't want to be independent at all. But independence is when we see our violence going across our head, over our head, or rather it is just nullifying our survival. So then we come across the particular this particular word, independence or empowerment. So these are kind of words that energizes us, also captures the market of where we are surviving. So it's very adaptive. It's very adaptive. We can't say we are empowered, we can't say we are a failure, because whatever we will say, it will be countered. It is very much, because you see, when I say I'm okay, this nod, who said that this nod is a sign of okay? I might be crying inside and this nod might not be okay. We are labeling all these words, or whatever word I'm uttering, all these are labeled and assigned by ourselves. This is again theory. I'll come to the theories now. So I hope I have answered the question. And theories come across. Ma'am asked me that what are the theories and how they can be relatable to our society nowadays. First comes to liberal. That is when we got our voting rights, when we get liberated, when we understood what is the meaning of independence. Then comes radical, when we had a sudden change, that is a total a transition to a particular development. Then comes Marxist. If someone from sociological background or for social science background must know that Marxist theory, or Marx talked about bourgeois and proletariat, that is upper class and lower class. He never specifically talked about women denominations, but in that case, Marx comes in all the things, because he talks about conflict theory, and we talk upper class as men and lower class as women, bourgeois and proletariat. So that is Marxist theory. Socialist, when we talk about classless society, when we talk about going against all binaries, But unfortunately, we cannot be classless. Unfortunately, we cannot say that you are not a second sex. We need to have a second sex. Simon the viewer comes there, where ma'am asked me to mention that who are the researchers, or who are the protagonists of these words. So yes, women are talked about second sex by Simon the viewer. This private and public property, as I talked about, this public and private patriarchy has been told by Walby. There are various other people. Human capital, whether women can be talked about, human capital. Sex laborers are now considered as human capital. Why? Because, Bordu talked about this, that we are all properties. We are all property, actually. We are selling ourselves. We are selling our ability. We are selling our effort to gain our survival. So we are all property. We cannot say that women is my property, or this girl is my property, because we are all properties. Even a husband is my property. Yes, that is the reason why I can charge him. That is the reason why I can ask him that, why have you done this? Or why have you ushered this peril on me? So everyone is a property. We can't say that women is marked as a social contract or marked as a property. So this is what Bourdieu has come across. So I talked about liberal, radical, Marxist, and socialist. Now comes postmodernist, that is beyond modernity. Foucault, Derrida, Ferdinand de Saussure, these are the people who talked about these theories. And they said that we need to come across modernity. What is modern? Many people will agree with the fact that this is not about only how we dress, this is also about how we represent our mentality. You can't say that I wore sari, that means I'm representing this particular culture. It can be anyone who can wear sari. I can wear a short pant. So it's not about the dressing. It's not about smoking cigarettes. It's not about drinking wine. It is not about these abilities to do, or this independence doesn't mean that this is a modern trait. It came from ages. So what is modernity? Modernity is something, this word is to be countered, something which is post, which is something which is beyond. Indian context, there are people like Chandra Talpare Mohanty who has seen women feminism under westernized, and Spivak by Gayatri Chakraborty, where can subalterns speak? Yes, women has been considered subaltern, marginalized, but then again, she doesn't say women as marginalized. They say all subalterns, all the people who are considered as minorities, are whether their grievances can be voiced, so whether they can speak. So these are the Indian connotation. There are nationalist feminism as well, and of course, being a Bengali, I can't erode my lecture without connotating Rabindranath Tagore, who has been in various unclaimed feminist perspectives. And I will also counter that after this, finishing all the relation with the theories. Postmodernism, and last is ecofeminism, where we come across the word LGBTQIA nowadays, which is very famous. All the gendered constructions are coming into action. We can't always identify a sex by male, female, or transgender. There are various other psychological as well as physiological as well as emotional boundaries as attached with gender constructions. So these are the theories in the social reality we have. Now I come across Rabindranath Tagore. Why I say that I will also counter him, because there are certain love poems as well as various writings of Rabindranath Tagore, and I call him unclaimed feminist because he did a lot for women upliftment. His writings are a lot for women upliftment. But then again, if you go to the writing of last poem, the last poem, it's not a poem, it's actually a novel. That is Shesher Kobita. That is the last poem. He mentioned the trio, the love triangle, and he said that love is like the love is like a feeling of sea. When you're loving someone, love relation is like a sea. But marriage is something which is water in a pot. So a water in a pot satiate your thirst, but the water of a sea can't satiate your thirst. Huge countering. People might feel that this is a very lovey-dovey word, but do you really think that we can say that the person whom I'm loving, I won't marry that girl because that is a water of sea, and the person who I'm marrying is a water of pot which will satiate my thirst? So that is unclaimed, you know. You can take it as a positive way. That is, I'm giving an unlimited version of love to you. That is the loving relation, or woman of love is an unlimited shore to be, covered in a particular pot. Or you can say, oh, you don't think me that I can satisfy you in all way, that you need not to think about that love and marriage is different. So see, these are very diabolical. This will have negation. People might negate the people who work on Ravna Tigar, the people who work on love relations, who the people who talk about the people, the woman who get betrayed and how they feel. They might feel that what she's saying, we are betrayed. Yes, I'm saying that only. If you're betrayed, do you think that that can be considered as a water of sea? You will talk about it's unlimited, and that's the reason you're betrayed. No, it cannot be happened. You can't label whom I'll betray or whom I'll take as my faith. So all these things, all this empowerment, all the words, everything, I would say it's all about economy. What is gaining proportion that particular period of time? So I would say hate speech or anything which is causing insult to you, take it as a word. We are labeling it, we are assigning meaning to it. One day you can see, you will look back and you can smile on and you can smirk on those words of people who found himself psychologically unable, himself or herself psychologically unable to compete with you, and propagated that hatred towards you. That's how we can counter it. So yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you. There is one question from Mr. Roy. Uh, how you change your mindset about rapes, women in society, and how to build awareness in our youths about it. So, yeah, it's a societal issue. So I think Srija would definitely able to answer.
Yes. So this word rape, first thing, the biological difference that we can't mitigate, that is not possible to mitigate by us because it's God's grace. That is, women being herself is a taker, and men by himself is a giver. That is a biological process I'm talking about. We intake what comes our way, but a man gives out. So what happens, we inculcate all goodness and badness within ourselves, and we would say that goodness and badness was already there in the body of the man. So how we can see rape, we can't say that women is getting raped. Why? Because when a man is raping a woman, or we can say women is raping a man, both of them are in a position where they are biologically being crucified. So rape cannot be countered as a gendered bias. We need to move away from this perspective that women are getting raped. It is not women, it is the humanity which is getting raped. It is the cruelty against my negation. When I say, no, don't do this to me, it is cruelty against my wish and my will that you are empowering yourself without my consent. That is how we need to look towards rape. I won't say that woman is getting raped. No. The man is equally getting raped unknowingly, that he is enforcing his power on a particular person who is not in a position to combat. How can you, kind of say that I am superior to you when you don't even competing with a person who is having equal force to fight with you? That is how we need to change the perspective. It is much more heinous to the person who is not empowered at that situation. If I say, if a woman is getting raped at a particular situation, then that man is much more heinous. And if a man is getting raped at that situation, then that woman in position, in a superiority, is in heinous position. So it is not gendered connotation. It is all about a cruelty against my willingness of surrenderance. That is how we can talk about rape these days. So I would request not to say Srilata Hani or disrespect of a woman due to due to her invasion of private parts, because our respect doesn't confine in our private parts, whether it's a man or a woman, anyone. Yes, ma'am.
So true. Thank you so much. That's actually a power packed presentation, I would say that with this power packed presentation, we are addressing when actually we opened up our session, particularly with hate speech and how to counter hate speech. It is within ourselves. The
Absolutely.
respect, it is not only our bodily respect, but it is the soul respect, how you are respecting to the other person's soul, how you are touched upon with your words to the other person's soul. That means a lot, not the outer part of any of our bodily expressions. So, hate speech, what I felt to me, that is actually damaging the inner values, soul, and the mindfulness of any person. And that is very, very, very dangerous impact to some extent, because hate speech, counter hate speech, and how to address the hate speech, that is a long journey, a long debate. But what we first need to understand, that is positivity and positive dialogue. Take everything with not only with a sympathized way, but a empathized way. And from that, respect would come first, and automatically our society would change. And I think you addressed very greatly to Mr. Roy regarding the rape and how to address the rape victims. Try to learn something from your own understanding about any topic, because everything is within ourselves. And if we're going to judge ourselves from the bottom of our heart, automatically the answer will come. That's what I believe, and I'm also practicing similar way. So I today particularly I request everybody to please fill out the feedback form. We are almost going to end our discussions. Unfortunately, Stella wouldn't able to join due to some technical issues she is facing from Nigeria. So I hope that we will have Stella in our next session. Maybe Srija will join also our next session in next month. So definitely I really, really congratulate from bottom of my heart to Srija for this wonderful talk. Because today my takeaway from this lecture is think differently, but always try to relate economical aspects with any topic, because that is very, very important. As a geography student, I never thought with the economical perspective, but now from Srija's talk, I came to know so many things. I think Debolina, she is a wonderful student from Loreto College, Kolkata. She would like to ask, ma'am, do you think sex education will help in some way or other in the empowerment of women?
Mm, yes, of
Srija?
course. I would say yes, sex education, not only for, I particularly negate this word empowerment of women, but sex education will help to empower anyone, irrespective of any sex or gender. Because, sex education doesn't only mean that when you are getting harm, it is also a meaning to the fact that when you're getting abused, that is very important. Sex education will let you know when you're getting abused, because there are various physical abuses that happens in our society, which is not only gendered. I mean, this is not about men is abusing man is abusing a particular girl child, or a woman is abusing a particular boy child. It is about, we need to know what is our good touch and what is our bad touch,
Right.
what is our basic biological differences. I'll say this, Debolin, it's a very good question you raised. I would have missed this point otherwise, because there is a word of Judith Butler in Gender Trouble, or for that matter, Judith Butler also wrote Bodies That Matter, where we need to know that our body itself is triggering this differentiation of market. Because see, a woman is having breasts. So what that means, that when a child is getting, when he or she is taking birth, we are bound to feed him or her because we have breast. Our father can't feed him or her. So this bodily differences is actually triggering this politics of discrimination that is talked about in a very pertinent manner in Bodies That Matter by Judith Butler. And if you see that, it is very important to know how sex education will educate. How will you know your body yourself? How will you know what is my weakness and what is my strength? I mean, it might happen that your private parts are not your weakness. Might be this hand of yours is injured when you took your birth. So that is important. Sex education doesn't mean only our private parts. It means to know our body. It means to know our strength of bodily empowerment that we have towards this society. So that is very important, that everyone should have it. Yes, that will empower all our individuals, not only women. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Srija. We are almost at the end of our discussions, and I'm really, really happy that participants for this particular webinar, uh, it is not only the women, but also been men are presented. So I'm really happy and really glad that we have a not equal. I think more women have been powered, not empowered, because we are already powerful. So, and our counterpart, because without men, we alone may not able to change the society.
Absolutely.
We really need both of the gender together to hold their hand and do something collaboratively to addressing hate speech, to deal with the women's rights, to deal with the human rights, to deal with uh, any societal issues, because sometimes we missed out the environmental issues also. That is the eco-friendly, how to create eco-friendly society for each and every individual in the society. Because what I felt that COVID-19 virus doesn't discriminate. Again, I'm saying, I'm repeating every time this word, because what I felt that COVID-19 taught us so many things. One very important thing that taught us, that is the equality. Without any discrimination, it is creating equal impact to each and everyone in the society. So we have to take away from COVID-19, and the most important takeaway from this entire 1 year, that is one of a great thing, that is human values. Somehow we forgot about our parents, our root. This entire 1 year, I think some people definitely would able to reach their root and able to connect, because this time they've spent much more time with their parents, with their family. So more and more time you spend with your family, I think that is very important. And one thing is creating, that is a miscommunication. Lack of dialogue is creating so many problems. So if you really would like to resolve any issues, it could be the best way to talk more and more, but not to involve with a conflict, because sometimes what happened, whenever we are having more dialogue, we engaged into a conflict due to similar interest but with different perspective. Similar interest, we have similar interest, we have a same notion, but from different perspective. You are seeing 9 and I am seeing it 6. That's the way. So it's time to change your role. And definitely we will have more talk from Srija. And I really, really thankful to Srija to accept my invitation to talk on web platform for dialogue for our participants. I really congratulate all the participants over here, and I request all of you, please submit your feedback form. That is very important for Srija also to improve, to improvise some more new things. And definitely I wish you all the best, and I hope you will definitely have your doctorate degree very soon. Congratulate all of you. And thank you so much, all of you again. If you would have any questions, just write back to us. connect@webplatformfordialogue.net. That's our email ID. Thank you so much. And good evening, good night, good day from all of the world. Take care. Bye bye. I'm going to stop the recording right now, but we can continue.